educational planning, economics and educational planning.
Now we are just going to hear your intervention. You have now, sorry for the delay. We are 10 minutes in delay, I'm sorry, but we have had technical problems here, but we are just recovering. So you have 30 minutes.
Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, on behalf of all station speaker and Muslim, I send you greeting by the magic word, salam. But we have learned this childhood from our educators and parents is that we have to use always, and especially when we are dealing with others, a term and a word that includes all the friendliness and kindness and humanity. This word, salam. Salam to you, namely peace and friendship for you all. It's my first word to you, you that always think to children and the word of the world and concern for their education and their mental and spiritual development. That's why you are admirable, honorable, and lovely. I express my sincere appreciation to Professor Giovanni for all his efforts in establishing this meeting. I thank all of you who listen to my work, and many thanks the São Paulo University for having hosted this important event, as well as the members of International Group of the Right to Education. At the beginning, I have to confess that I want to bring up more a critical view in the field of right to education. In other words, I will describe that the way to achieve the right to education for all is a little harder than what usually occurs in the international community and during the speeches. So I want to leave some synthetic look. I wanted to describe this issue from two perspectives: philosophical point and an economic perspective, which refers to basic fundamental issues, but much more related to the field of possibilities and limitations. But due to lack of time and my problem in English speaking and writing, I prefer to talk about one subject and focus on the philosophical aspect on this issue. Also, Giovanni's report has hinted in detail better than me on the economic aspect. So, as policy making and operation in this field is affected by our way of thinking, I am referring to a philosophical point of view. Only a smile hand. Initially, I only mentioned some or even one of the numerous subjects I want to emphasize that without going into detail. First, I would like to propose some philosophical statements, proposition regarding right to education. The right to education for all is a wish, an ideal, in my opinion, which is not a dream. Ideal and goals are not unattainable. But to achieve that, we have many problems. We have to try and not get bored. In order to the enjoyment of this right for everyone, we have to know some facts, but not to stop back of them. It is for paying attention to the hopes and aspirations, as well as goals and objectives to achieve and access. And we should remember that the educational philosophy based on the hopes and educational aspirations of a community, and these hopes are the origin of fundamental objectives of education. education is real and based on some facts, but should always process towards higher goals and aspirations. And now we hope becoming education for all, but which education? Undoubtedly, the education which is staged will be visible on our daily lives and our children's behavior. Although it seems to be a great goal and sometimes a great ideal, but it is achievable. Certainly, we have a long and hard road ahead to build a system of human value-based education, but it can be carried out. We should also take steps in the direction of wisdom. Then we are able to build up an educational system based on acquired knowledge. A kind of education that all children can experience a happy life, free of oppression, and towards freedom, correctness, truth, honesty, and democracy. That there are two basic steps in front of us. First, we should know, then we must act based on this knowledge. One of the most important components of this knowledge is that the education is a right, a human right. So education is duty and responsibility, a task and responsibility on the trainers and educators. But in practice, this is the problem that I want to point out. But in practice, some politicians and ever some educators consider this duty and responsibility as their right. As in fact, the right of education is not given. And according to this scenario, it is an offense to the children, and they will be oppressed and even abused. Assume that education for all was possible. Now the question is, what is this education? Do we know exactly what we ask for all? Answers to some questions are very influential in how education is detailed. It's necessary to mention that the education is value-based, and in all of the elements, worldview and value involved. And it's necessary to mention too that our goal is not only learning, but also it is be educated. Our goal is not learning, only learning, but it is be educated. Our goal is emergence of an educated man. And there is a difference between learning and education. In my opinion, learning amounts to change of personality, which consists the basis of individual behavior and attitude, and it is a psychological identifiable phenomena formed in the brain of children. It is a psychological process that could from a philosophical point of view be realized as beneficial to the student and satisfactory for the educator, or not beneficial to the student and not satisfactory for the educator. And now, education means useful and beneficial learning and personality development, not personality modification. Personality development. Education would not be possible without learning, but not any learning can be considered as education. In fact, education occurs through learning, but it is a kind of learning that is useful and beneficial for children and satisfactory for educators. From the perspective of the educator, education is not accomplished if learning is not useful and beneficial. It depends upon whether it is beneficial. In other words, the usefulness of learning coincides with its educational value and vice versa. Thus, teaching and education are conscious efforts to form experience, to structure direction and control of learning. Their mission is to create conditions and opportunities for the development of personality in order to ease the process and focus on useful and beneficial learning. Now, if education for us is possible, but education does not have a clear meaning, a clear aim, what is the benefit of learning, let's say, for humanity? The problem is component when you see the useful and beneficial learning instead of serving the people is in the service of the power, politicians and their goals. Because apparently this problem can be solved by government and politicians. Those who, I think, cannot determine the meaning of useful and beneficial learning, and those who do not allow to decide about it. Honestly speaking, I am afraid of a line-like learning that is not useful and beneficial for children, for humans, or a line-like learning that has not any clear and exact meaning, sample, and example.
Focus on something else, I can do it. Otherwise, I'll talk about two additional points.
Yes, please, proceed with the other two additional points, please.
Okay. So I found in the declaration, of course, concerning quality education, what is the profile of the students or the graduates, that is, people when they leave, students when they leave school, what should be their profile? This is very important. Now, if we want to, in terms